Hello, everybody. I'm going to be talking about Agile development, or why all software development can be done in 2-week periods. My name is Jake Spencer. I work for my consulting group. I've been a developer there for right at a year now. So one of the probably most popular ones I'd say in Agile development is the Scrum methodology. Scrum is short for a scrummage, which is what you see on the screen here. It's actually a rugby term where both teams are trying to get the ball so they can run with it on their side. And what they do is both teams lock together and then push against each other back and forth with all the team, with guys throwing their legs in, kicking at each other, trying to get the ball on their side. And the main things about when you're in a scrum, it's about your team working together and fighting through that pain of beating into each other and trying to get the win for your team. So when it comes to Agile development, the Scrum methodology has the same things. You are working together with your team. You have those daily stand-ups the daily Scrum, where you get up and talk about what you've done, what you're going to do, what blockers you might have, and then you need to fight through the pain. And in this case, talking about 2-week sprints, because 2 weeks is the best time period to have a sprint. Any sort of development can fit in 2 weeks. You might think maybe that it's a little more geared towards modern development, doing some JavaScript development on a page, nice compartmentalized code. But it doesn't matter if you have procedural code like the C that you see on the screen here. You have a giant old monolithic code base, legacy applications that were last rewritten maybe 20, 25 years ago. Undocumented code where none of the people that wrote it work here anymore, so you just have to read through it and figure it out on your own. Any of that can fit in 2 weeks. And sometimes what you have to do is break it into multiple parts. And you might say, but this is a giant piece of code. It's going to take me a week and a half to read through it, much less figure out how to modify it without breaking it. Well, what I mean by breaking it into multiple parts is that you have a part 1, and a part 2, and a part 3, and maybe you don't commit your code in between those. You just say, it's the end of the Scrum, it's the end of the sprint, so we're going to say this sprint is completed, and then move on to part 2 of the development. And in that way, you can do any development in 2 weeks. You might not have a finished project, which might be one of the points of Agile development, but you've finished the sprint. Reasons to do it in 2 weeks. You got to keep up the pace. This is a quickly changing world. Technology's changing every day. So you have to keep going and keep it up, keep the changes coming. You need frequent deliverables. You got to show you're completing things, you're getting it done, you're getting things out there. 2 weeks are a nice round number. We use computers, which use base 2 for everything we do, so why not 2 weeks? So, in conclusion, you should always stick to 2-week sprints. And remember, when somebody tries to fight against that, you got to fight for your team and say, no, we're going to do these 2-week sprints because we know that's what's best. Any questions? Okie doke. Thank you very much.